Everybody, what's up? It is Robett, rock and roll, back into the mix. We're very lucky to have a social media weapon join the show. And good friend, Wendy Thompson. How are you, CEO Socialites?
I'm wonderful. So good to be here.
You've we were just talking before, you've got the newscaster set up, ready to roll, saggy trackpads at the
I do.
bottom, slippers.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally slippers, trickies, and then like a nice top. It's
There
like
you
what
go.
we do now. It's great.
Yeah, it's a thing. Have you got sick of all the different platforms for all your Zooms, Google Hangouts, Microsoft Teams, Facebook Workplace, flipping who knows what, whatever else, or have you
Oh,
managed to consolidate and keep life simple?
no, there is no simple life right now. It's hilarious. It's so funny. In fact, like the other day I was on I can't remember which one. I was on one of them and I wasn't used to it, and I kept on pressing on the going to go mute, and instead of pressing mute I was clicking myself out just because it wasn't the one I'd been working with the rest of the day. It's so funny. I was like, and sorry guys, I'm back in again. Hi.
Yeah,
Hi.
it's a
So getting there.
pe- people that have been going back to backs now. We are talking to Melissa Clark Reynolds before, and she was saying, usually in between meetings, you could pop down, go get a quick coffee, or come back in. But
Yeah.
then what's happening is people are just going back to backs. Like, I'm guilty of it myself.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
just like boom,
crazy.
boom, 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 boom. And then it's like, then you stop and you're like, wait a second, I haven't like eaten in like 7 hours. You're like, oh shit, maybe I
No.
should go do that. So yeah.
Yeah.
For those who aren't aware of our socialites, what you do, how you roll, quick bit of context, and then we can jump into it.
Oh yeah. So Socialites, it's a social media marketing agency I started 10 years ago now. Been in advertising for over 20 years. We specialise just in social media marketing. We work with sort of large, tend to be New Zealand, Australian corporates around the world, and do some really good work. Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, Twitter, all that stuff. It's fun.
You also missed dropping the hammer, which needs to be addressed. 2019 Australasian Social Media Marketer of the Year.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Um, we had Sir Peter Gluckman on yesterday, and he's got like, first he starts off with like Sir Peter Gluckman, got it, and then he's
Very
got all
cool.
these crazy flipping like PhD, MBE, dot dot dot, something, and I'm like, this is flipping nuts, man. He's got all of the
All of
things
the
on it. He's got all of the
alphabet,
things.
alphabet soup. Yeah,
Um, where to
nuts to
start?
it.
Let's start with this. How much, how big of a change a brand's going to approach digital and social after this AC?
I think quite significantly. I think it's going to be really big, and this change is going to be really important for all brands and businesses, whether they're, a tiny little coffee shop in Matamata, or they're, a big telco. Everything we've been forced to become digital first, absolutely. So from a brand point of view, that means everything. And my world's obviously communication. So communicating digitally first is just absolutely huge. Yeah, I can't really emphasize it enough. We've just moved
Yeah.
digitally. We've seen an increase of 60% online traffic in the last
Hmm.
few weeks. It's just
Mostly on
huge.
social, I'm guessing.
Across the line, no, across like the internet in general.
Right.
What's happened is, and it's not just so communication has increased, hugely, but also just online in general. So people are using online where they might have gone into a store. They're doing all their research and
Got it.
their research and their shopping online, which they didn't used to do. And I don't think they're going to go back because it's so much easier. you know,
Are you talking about like
yeah,
virtual browsing, R&D, price scoping, and then after they're in the routine of
everything.
that for a month, you just like stuff it. I've now
Yeah,
got my login. I've already got my previously bought
and I've got my wish
items.
list.
I've got my page, got my wish
Yeah,
list.
I'm used to talking to people online now as well. Like people have been forced to become good at digital. Like we've been forced to get good at Zoom and things. Everyone's been forced, if they weren't already, to do online shopping, to communicate with brands through, Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp Messenger instead of, ringing them. It's really been a huge change for people. It's like there's that meme going around which I quite like, and it's, who led the digital transformation in your company? Was it the CEO, the CTO, or was it COVID-19? And what's happened right now is that everyone that hadn't done their digital transformation has been forced into it. And I'm
Mm,
hearing a lot of companies who were, they were going to maybe do their digital transformation over 3 years. They've had to do it in a month. And they've done it. So
that's exactly
you know,
what Clive Omrod was saying. They had a 3 year. The strategy was the same. It just got escalated really, 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 really fast.
yeah.
And
Instead of 2 to 3 years, let's just do it in a month. Okay, yeah. And you know what? They're doing it. Kind of interesting as well.
It goes to prove
Yeah.
how fast organizations can move and how fast things can get executed and how brave you can actually be if you throw the hammer and flip and do it. Like, obviously, you know, I'm sure people would have liked a bit more than 48 hours notice for those that weren't prepared for it. But simultaneously, you think that after, 5 weeks of this working virtually, I mean, Melissa Clark-Reynolds was saying before, she's like, I don't think I'm going to fly to any of those meetings, which I don't really need to be at. I think I'll just Zoom in and it'll be fine. Cool. Next.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely changed. It's changing everything. Like, it really has, in a big way, just transformed completely the way we work. And, it's not great, obviously, for some industries. This whole thing is horrendous for, hostel and tourism. But for other industries, it's actually given it a real shot in the arm, which it needed. So that's quite good to see. And especially us that work in offices, I think we're going to really change the way that we work. And I think that might be better for the planet, which is pretty cool. And also just for our work-life balance. So that's pretty cool. And, there's some really interesting trends come through. One of my favorite one is this kind of radical humanness that's coming out for brands. And it's come because we're all in Zoom meetings with kids and dogs and stuff running behind us and all sorts of funny things happening. And people are appreciating that. They're wanting to know, who they're talking to, but not just their corporate workplace, but who's the full person. So that kind of radical humanness is coming through, and I love that. I think it's actually really special. It's that real genuineness, transparency, honesty, that you're a whole person, not just who you are at work, kind of thing. It's quite cool.
It is cool. It's flattening the optics of the ivory tower, right? It's bringing it down to, that is the CEO's bedroom and fireplace and cat and running shoes and
exactly.
And in many ways, for me it's not weird. For you it's probably not weird, but for many that don't get to, have we lost you? Oh shit. Wendy.
Really?
Are you back?
You can't see me?
You're back.
Okay,
no, we're there.
I should be fine.
So okay, sweet. No, the whole thing went blank for about 5 seconds.
I hate that.
Yeah, and it's quite cool. It's quite cool seeing the, leading with love and being kind and all this other stuff. But at the same time, I really feel there's going to be this wave of, I've talked about it a couple of times now, the weak leaders are getting exposed because it's all transparent there. And then the other ones that have been great are creating tribalism and big sets of glue within their organizations, which is going to hold on to retention rates. And I think there's going to be, the good companies are going to come out this so much greater. Melissa Clark-Reynolds was talking about before, businesses that haven't potentially survived, they almost had like pre-existing conditions coming into this, and a lot of the weaker businesses potentially have fallen off. Obviously that's outside of those whose cash flow needs them to, like, parking that aside. And so it's been quite interesting seeing just how brands have adapted. What's the biggest surprise? What brand has made you most proud in terms of what they've done with their marketing on social in this last month?
Last one. Well, they're actually all, I can probably give a couple, like a small example and a big example. I think at a big level, I'm really, really proud of the work that New World's done. In terms of the pressure on the organisation to kind of suddenly, and Countdown as well, but New World's one I know, in terms of like to feed the country, I think they really rose to the challenge and just listened to their community and did, kind of was in there with their community. And I love what they've done. They've done all sorts of really cool campaigns, like At Home With, where you go in home and do cooking with them and things like that. And just they were really not, there was like no defensiveness at all. It was very like transparent, and as things changed, they were like they over communicated with what was happening, and they've done and they listened to their community. So things like, giving priority to first responders and elderly people. Like they were like, oh yep, that's a good idea, let's go do it. And they just kind of quietly got on and well, actually not quietly, they over communicated, which I thought was really, really cool. So I was really proud of them. And then at a smaller level, I've actually seen some fashion brands doing some really cool things and like being really innovative. Yeah, like my friend who owns Yumi, which is a really cool handbag shop, obviously she couldn't ship or anything like that, but what she did is she went out and looked at her archive of the stuff that she actually had and was like, and did this big like campaign to like sell all her old, archive stock off, which was a really clever, smart thing, because it ticks into our feelings of nostalgia that we want right now, but also it gives her some much needed, cash flow and creates that connection with the community. And I was like, oh, that's just clever and smart, and not just going on holiday for 4 weeks. That's actually innovative. And I was like, I like that. And it just showed that she really understood her community. So yeah, I think whether you're big or small, there's things you can do.
Just lean on that point, it's going to become clear at the end of this thing is those brands that have, told those stories well and shown care and empathy, but being creative with their commerce and the content, especially leveraging on social when everyone's there, it's going to create this, you're talking about, this patriotism, this hyper local backing, this sort of like really get down and support that person. That's going to be quite interesting. How do you see, I guess patriotism.
It is patriotism, really.
Yeah, but like, how do you think that's going to play out after this for the brands?
Yeah, I've never seen the patriotism and the kind of shop local and that tribalness so strong as I've seen it now as a country. I'd say I'm putting it out there, I'd say it's stronger than during the Rugby World Cup. Everyone is just
big call.
Really, I know, it's a big call. It's a big call.
You're right though, Wendy, you're right.
I think I am right. I mean, people are like literally changing from like blue to red right now. It's like crazy, and people are just coming together. And I was kind of giggling. I was chatting to my husband about it, and it was like, is it because we're so competitive? We've just got to, like, even everyone's going, oh, when we're looking at our COVID responses, we're like comparing ourselves to everybody else, like, the Aussies and stuff. And I'm like, yes. Sport, so we have to be competitive. We still have to beat the Aussies. And I was like, it's so funny. Like, it's not funny, but it is a little bit funny. But
team of 5 million, right? Like, she's used that wording.
Yeah.
She has used that wording, and it's very clear, around, New Zealand's a very much a we mentality, and lots of other parts of the world in different countries, without pointing fingers, are very much a me mentality. And when you've gone, unite against COVID, look out for your neighbor, leading with love, this hyper-local resiliency, you lay on top of team, and then you put wordings in the graph, because I've been seeing that same graph, and all I'm looking at is like, black is down. All right, we're winning. Dope. Keep it up. Yeah. Black is down.
We're competitive. And the great thing is, like, I think as a country, we're actually gonna, like, obviously it's impacting everyone individually, and I'm not at all wanting to say anything wrong about the people who are really, really hurting through all this. But as a country, I think we could actually come out quite well if we beat this from a tech point of view, from a being up on the world stage, from a investment point of view. And I think a lot of people will be wanting to invest in countries and tech and businesses in New Zealand because of what we're doing here, because I think we have shown this real patriotism and coming together, and we can do it. And it's quite, we're on the world stage right now, and I think that's a good thing. Well, that's what we think anyway. I'm back in,
No, but we've got to be, it sucks, right? Because this is what I was talking to someone the other day of like, we've never had a moment since the Treaty of Waitangi that brought together culture and community together more, that's brought culture, community and commerce together for one moment. But instead of being a proactive approach for us to do it for each other, it has been us reactionary to something which we can't see. And so we've actually been reactionary to bring us together, not proactively, even though our intent was to be proactive. And I've been just thinking a bit about like the impetus of something that has started with, and it's still bad, right? Like people are sick, people are hurting, people are not making it. That sucks. At a macro, it just kind of, you kind of feel, I've been thinking about this, this thing of like, I'm half excited about the future and hype for opportunity, and then half depressed because I know the waves of, mental health, potential suicide, domestic violence at home for people and kids that are in unsafe environments, for upcoming recession, for people that are going to get wiped out, for all this other shit. And it's heavy, right? It's heavy. And then you've kind of got to stop and be like, okay, net, what does this mean for us? And when I think about it, I think, okay, well, if New Zealand can be one of the first countries in the world back in business, if we can be open for global trade, if we can be, really
open for investment, investment, like get some of these amazing businesses humming who might not have been, up on the world stage, and they now suddenly are. And if we look at our future, I do think, it is probably in that sort of tech space, and I think we could get some really good good profile right now. So that would help a lot of people who are currently right now hurting. Maybe. I mean, it's all conjecture. Also, I love the idea of, and like it is hard, like, you know, it's close to me as well. My husband's in international tourism, so it's definitely affecting my home right now. But at the same time, on that positive side, as a business leader, I think it's really important for our job to look to an exciting future and go, what can we create? And, you know, is it a truly clean, green and New Zealand environment? Like, what does the perfect place to live look like? And what can we do to change that right now? Environmentally, but also commerce-wise, or, you know, what are things that we can do as a business and make some big changes while everyone's going in the same direction? It's like, I almost think we almost need this big vision of what that would be, and then everyone's like, right, we're in. Because I've never seen the country come together like this in my years, and it's quite, apart from things like Rugby World Cup, and it's quite cool. It's
but to have
make a better New Zealand. What is that though? I mean, I'm not an expert, so that's where we need the experts.
Where's the North Star, the clear mission of an intent of a nation, the kind of the, you know, I've been talking about this idea of the, you know,
perfect world,
the new New Zealand. No, it's like, well, where does, okay, well, now what? You know, if we go back to business as usual and it's copy paste shit again, everyone's going to be like,
I don't think we want that.
People died, and this is, we're back to the same shit. Like, surely we can be better. Surely we can be brave.
I don't think we need that.
You know?
Yeah, I don't think we want to go back. Like, I know we talk about we want to go back, but I don't think we actually in our hearts want to go back. There's some things that we'll want to keep. So it's a matter of choosing what we keep. You know, it's like what you're saying about people not wanting to do those meetings they didn't need to go to. Let's save those carbon credits. But also, what else could we do? Like, if we can do this as a nation, I'm pretty proud right now, and I think a lot of Kiwis are. If we can beat this, what else can we do? Like, can we make the perfect world? You know, or work towards it? Can we eliminate, you know, kids getting hungry and domestic violence? Like, why not? Is there a way to do it? I don't know. I'm not an expert, but it would be pretty cool.
Yeah, the Melissa Clark was talking about, you know, the fact to show, I think the number, I don't know if it was the right one, but it was like 100,000 kids, you know, don't even have access to the internet. And you think in 2020, you know, like, I'm half around the world right now, we're doing this there, you're in AK, and then you kind of just sit there and like, what do we want? Who's going to be brave to actually put some expectations? I mean, if we go back to Christchurch, right, within, I think it was like, you know, 24 or 48 hours, just when it comes out, it was like, all right, no more guns, boom, done, next. Okay, this is this is like, so I'm kind of wondering, like, what's the flipping hammer that's going to get thrown with a stake in the ground for what New Zealand either is about or represents? Because we haven't even seen these negative waves. We don't have enough data, and we haven't had enough time yet to find out where the weakness, or the big weak spots in society are just yet. So I'm wondering if they do flare up, where they're going to start to throw the hammer down of what we're actually about. Because, you know, if we're being all airy fairy, New Zealand's perfect, we're this utopian place of the future, and you know, we're the safest place in the world, blah blah. But then, you know, if we're talking about, you know, mass homelessness, kids who can't flip and eat, all this other bad shit, you're like,
we've got
what?
It's not great. No, but so if we make that a real, you know, I think the mental health things, I think all New Zealanders are very into that, and I think everyone's looking for a solution, and there's some people doing some incredible work in that space. So it's almost just like we need a focus, you know, like, let's go, okay, the next year is all about X. I don't know. It's kind of almost that, like, I'm a business person, obviously. So, you know, we work in kind of, everything's about focus. You just focus on one thing well, and that's how you get stuff done. And I wonder if, you know, the whole country focused on one thing, like we're doing now, eliminating COVID, what would the next thing be? And then can we have a 10-year plan of one thing a year? Or I don't know.
There you go. No.
That's what I do as a business person. I go, okay, that's what we're doing. We're going to eliminate, I don't know, carbon this year. We're going to have every single car electric. You know, it's completely unrealistic probably, but maybe you would have said what we're doing now is unrealistic 2 months ago. So I think it's kind of time to change things, try and change our thinking a little bit.
Yep.
Which is fun. But the other thing that I'm seeing, which is really interesting, is from consumer point of view, and which brands should think about, is that considered consumption, which all links in together to us slowing down and thinking. And if you're a brand, like, from a real practical point of view, it's become less about convenience or prestige, and people are now really wanting to know the purpose behind your brand. And that doing good and caring, that's what people are wanting to see. I'm seeing that really strongly on social trends coming through. It's one of the big ones as well. It's quite important. So linking yourself to other people that are doing good is important as a brand.
It's just it feels like instinctually now everyone has got a different filter on top of the other stuff of, are you a good human? What are you about? What's your purpose? Where's the depth, not just the width? I think we've flipped from a width to depth perception economy, maybe.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we're less about just getting all the things done, ticking off the bucket list, etc. And it's now come into, okay, what are you, thinking about what you're doing, thinking about what you're buying. Everyone is thinking, do I really need to go to the shops to buy that bottle of cream, or can I wait? It's that whole kind of everyone stopping and thinking, and they're applying that to their whole lives with everything that they're buying, everything that they're getting involved in. And I quite like that. It's almost quite just considered. It's less just doing because you're told. It's more, considered consumption. I'm calling it. It's my little words, but
I get it.
I like it.
Yeah, it's pausing and quick. Like I really feel almost
evaluating.
Exact point. Yeah, that they've got. If you've been at home, you've got these new routines. You're making your coffee. You're making your lunches. You're doing this. You're doing that. The retail psychology out of this, I think, is going to will have changed the consumption habits of the world. Like I can almost guarantee, if you've been doing this for a certain time, it's past your 21 days of routine where you might go for that walk. You might not go for every single meal eaten out. You might not fast fashion the shit up 12 times a week, going and just buying a bunch of random shit online. You might get more into minimalism. You might think more about the depth and story of quality products. Do you think it has shifted or will shift entire consumer behavior for our whole generation forever?
Yeah, it's a big statement, but I do think it has. It was already trending that way, and what's happened is it has shifted our entire generation's behavior. It was trending that way already. This has just reinforced it and brought it across the entire everybody that's out there. There's already kind of little pockets of it, but now everyone's got it. And I think that whole kind of mass market stuff is just going to go. Just not what people are looking for, which is kind of, it's almost bringing back the craftsmanship of people, which is quite cool. So whether you're crafting, a product or a service, it's almost making everything a little bit more individual, which I think is quite nice, especially which fits in with this whole movement that we've got already of, using AI and technology to kind of do all the repetitive, boring stuff, but then actually using the humanness of us to be that creativeness and thoughtfulness and sort of bringing that through again. Kind of cool. Sort of can see a future like that.
Yeah, it's definitely changing, if not changed already with all of it. So when you come back out the side of this, right, people are going to get back into the mix. They're going to get back into business. They're going to be back rolling. If you could, reimagine or redesign or reframe this future of what you feel it could be for brands, how would you reset social media marketing after COVID?
If I was a brand? Yeah, probably the number one thing I would do to reset your social media marketing after COVID is just check how closely you are listening to your community. There's still a lot of brands out there that are just using social media as a channel to push, and that's only half. In fact, it's less than half of what the job is of social media. The biggest job of social media is actually to pull information from your community back and to use that to influence your business decisions. So I'd be looking really strongly at what insights are you getting from your community, what are they asking, and making sure you've got a perfect funnel to get it from the Facebook page or Instagram page or Twitter feed back up to the people that make decisions in your business. So I'd start with that, and everything should come from that. It's we've always talked about companies being customer led, but this has been like truly community led. Like, what's my community saying on a real time, day to day level? Like our clients, we used to do weekly reports before COVID-19 of what the community was saying. We're now doing them daily or twice daily because the world's changing so fast, and it's enabling our clients to really understand what's going on in real time and make decisions in real time. And I think that's where people need to go to in terms of rethinking and just having a look. Like, it's not just about, I'd be connecting with people that are doing good stuff, and and just thinking outside the box a little bit, like what's out there, what's happening. Kind of cool.
What's that? Yeah, that whole point of
Collaboration and
but like listening to the product, circling that background, and then just approaching the platform differently. With maybe it's approaching with more respect to the audience, right? Instead of
instead of it's almost changing it from using it as a broadcast platform, because it's not like it is, but it's not. That's not where its real value is. It is, cheaper than any other platform out there for broadcasting, but it's using it as a listening platform or connection platform. In fact, I don't even really like the word social listening. I prefer to use the word like social connection, because it's not just trolling and listening to little words that come up. It's actually going, okay, what are people really saying? What do they mean? And asking them questions back and getting really engaged, and showing that you care and are listening. And it's quite, it's fun. It's good. I know you're all over this. You're always listening to your community.
Yeah, well, it's
time consuming, but it's worth it. It's one of those ones.
To totally go. But I was just thinking from like a brand's perspective of, how do they shift? Do they build out different teams? Do they prioritize things differently with spend? Like, I know there's going to be a huge different way that people, decision makers that have done nothing but consume digital content and been doing everything online. I can't see a world where they go back to after COVID and then just put everything back to the way it was, because they're going to know that they consumed that in the new world. So if the eyeballs are all on mobile devices and digital, do we need to be doing the ... Why are we ... Do you know? Like, I'm wondering at a C-suite thing, if there's just going to be big chats to be like, team, what are we flipping doing here? Why is ... And why can't we ... I think there's going to be those conversations. Like, man, if I could be a fly on the wall at all these different board chats when everyone gets back and just decompresses, their truth, their learnings, their insights, their ideas, their everything. It's just going to be this like
amazing,
just
it's crazy. I mean, it's actually creating a digital first marketing strategy, and I would say that most companies I know still don't do that. They might call it customer first or media or whatever. They still, basically, I know, from personal experience, it's still, here's your little bit of money that you get in social media to work with from a real practical point of view. And I think that needs to change, and not just because I'm in that world, but because people are consuming digital and social first, or getting the information from that before they, use the other channels. So I think it is almost, right now, it is the most important channel is your digital. Like, we know that digital right now is the most important channel for every single brand out there, because of what's changed, because of this big digital transformation. So it's almost like starting with that rather than having that as an add-on, which still happens in a lot of organizations.
Well, it's the only channel right now.
Exactly.
The best. It's the only, like, this now wins by default. If you didn't even want to do it, it's like stuff you did.
Stuff that's right now aren't going to work. Like, you just much as I love stuff, it's one of my favorite things, but they do not work right now. They do not exist.
Where do you think the biggest shift in allocation of money that will come into social will actually come from in terms of marketing? Like, where do you think it's going to get hit the hardest in terms of marketing spend?
Probably print, because in New Zealand we've had Bauer shutting down, so suddenly the money that was going into print can't literally go there. So I imagine it will go there. But what I'd like to see is actually people going, okay, what do I need to make my digital marketing strategy work? And then whatever's left over goes to the other channels, which is a complete flip from how people in the past have done things. So it's not where it necessarily comes from. I think it's more about, if that's your priority, because right now digital is priority for everybody out there, and how much, if I needed, X amount of money to do digital well, and there's Y left, then that should go to the others, instead of going Y first and then digital second. People just have to go, right, to get our digital strategy, I need this much money, whatever's left over goes to the other channels. Because you just can't cut right now. The one thing you can't be cutting is digital, and we know that. Like, I'm kind of lucky we're in an industry right now that is up and running, and so we're doing fine compared to other companies and more traditional, because that's where everyone is. And our results are huge. We're getting 3 to 4 times more results than we do usually, and people can't even buy right now.
Interesting.
But people are still buying, and they're just waiting, or they're putting stuff into hold, or they're
wish list.
Communication. The wish list is a huge thing. If you don't have a website, please get one. I'm telling all my small business customers. And people are doing really good deals. There's all these companies like giving websites away for free. There's so much free stuff happening right now for people to get New Zealand digital. And that's quite beautiful to see as well. I'm even looking at doing like digital DIY kit or something like that. It'd be quite fun just to launch people. But it's you've just got to go digital first, everything else second right now.
Yeah. If you were scared of social media, you didn't understand technology, you don't know what Microsoft Teams is, you're scared as shit of Google anything, and you know that you are now in this world that you don't understand, what's the first one or two things that you'd do for a small business owner in New Zealand who is scared of the world of social?
Probably the first thing I would do is get myself personally onto social media. So just as a person, so as a Wendy Thompson or a Joe Blogs, and start to use the platforms yourself. So you just kind of can see what people are doing. So get yourself on Instagram, get yourself on Facebook, and especially, Facebook and Instagram in New Zealand are the two you really want to be playing with, especially Facebook if you're a business. So I'd start with that, and follow some of your brands that you like and see what they do, just to get a bit of inspiration. But like what I would say is, like, my mother-in-law is 78 years old, and she's been doing Zoom, she's been doing Facebook Live of her. She's quite involved in the church, so she's been helping them do church live Facebook streams. And we had to, because of social distancing, we like talking her through over the phone, like it's hilarious. And I'm like, if she's 78 and she's amazing and can do it, then anyone can do it. There's no excuse. She's so funny.
What platforms do you think are moving the fastest right now to do new products and services online in terms of social? Like what businesses are really throwing the hammer down and creating, a better experience for customers from what you've seen?
Oh, I haven't seen anyone do anything absolutely amazing. I did just see this morning that Facebook bought a SME focused company in India. I haven't done the whole research into it yet, so I think they're going to be really helping SMEs out quite a lot, which will be really interesting. But in terms of local businesses, I haven't seen anyone do anything radically cool as an experience. But what I would love, and I wish someone would do it, is to really get into that virtual reality, kind of put on a pair of glasses or have a thing where I can go shopping on my screen, like properly. Like, that would be epic. Okay. So I wish someone would do that. Because I'm a person that I don't like going to the shops and going shopping personally. And I know a lot of other people are like that. And it would just be great to be able to just kind of go through and just have a better experience than actually, looking at stuff online. So just make that online experience better, a bit more VR. That'd be cool.
I mean, is there a retail app that automatically takes every single product, categorizes it into sections, turns them virtual for your size, and have you go through? Does that exist?
I don't know.
Like say if it knows, all right, give me basically everything black and XXL, go, and I have my custom AI store for me, and I just can
here's your body thing.
I can scroll through and be like, all right, cool, and like literally do it that way. That'd be interesting, eh? Like, if you think about, I'm sure it probably exists, but if you
probably exists, it's just not used widely.
Yeah. Or I just don't know it. Yeah, I'm a small brain. But when you go to a mall, you physically walk in and it's 100 people's products for 100 people. Imagine walking in and it's all products for you. And it's like, everything's a size 12, everything's a XX, everything is black, everything is there. And I'll be like, that would be cool. And then as a byproduct of it, technically, I guess you do it with filters already, right?
You do it with filters now, but it's just, like you do it with filters. Like if you go into any clothing store, most of them, you can go, size, whatever, la, la, la. But I just feel that there is a next level. I feel like that was kind of, 5 to 10 years ago, and it hasn't got better since then. Like, what would be great if you could put in your measurements and then it showed that on your body.
Yeah.
Because I might be
your avatar in it. Got it.
That would be cool. Because I'm like super short. Like, I'm only 5'3", so stuff looks quite different on me than it does on the models. So it'd be great to see it on me without actually even going to a store.
Or even just as well, like with if you plugged in, we're just going on a little tangent here. I just enjoy this type of stuff.
That's kind of fun.
When you're going on to if you plug in your Instagram, your Pinterest, your LinkedIn, your Facebook, all the rest of it, and it automatically then tracks what you're liking, what you're liking and sharing and engage with, and be like, oh, cool, he's shown that he's, shared a bunch of Oakland Raiders stuff, and he's liked this TV thing, or he's done this and that. It's almost a whole AI experience for only products and everything. See, I'd virtually shop like that too, because I hate shopping. I just roll up, I buy the same, and I'm just out. I'm like, stuff that.
Yeah, I'm not great at it. I have someone that helps me. It's really handy. Like dress me, which is quite nice to have. Yeah, my friend AJ, she's amazing. Yeah, she's a stylist. She's really cool.
That's so baller. You got your own stylist. That's dope.
I do.
You are very well dressed.
Oh, she's so cool.
You've got the things. Yeah, maybe she can help me.
She just goes through my wardrobe and just goes buy that and put that together, and it's like the best thing ever. So that's cool. She's very cool.
Before we go, I'm keen to see what's your biggest hope out of the back of this for New Zealand?
I hope that we keep this sense of togetherness. I love the fact that everyone is working together towards something. So my biggest hope is that we find this next big thing that we're going to work on together as a country, and we all get behind that. I would love that. That's my biggest hope.
Yeah. Out of crisis is opportunity, and it's bad for a collective, but it could be good as a collective as well. But it's that unity piece, right? It's always the optimistic view of where things can go.
Yeah. Well, it's always like, if you think about, like, I've always found politics really tricky and hard, and always thought, who'd want to ever be a politician? Because as a business leader, I love that, I'm a certain type of leader and people are attracted to me as that type of a leader, and then I can go do my thing. But when you're a politician, you're kind of having to, like, have everybody like you and support what you're doing, which is very, 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 very hard. And so when the circumstances make something so big that, you can really lead well, I think that's a really powerful opportunity to do big things. And if you look at countries like Singapore in the past, where they've got like a big, strong vision and the whole country goes towards that, I'm like, oh, I think New Zealand can do that. Like, we're sort of small enough and powerful enough, and right now we're together. And that's why wars unite people. It's the same sort of psychology. So wouldn't it be cool if we went, okay, let's stamp out child poverty or mental health? Maybe we actually wouldn't it be great if we could actually just solve that problem? I know that's not an easy problem. It's like saying solving homelessness, but it doesn't have to be an easy problem to solve. It should be a hard one. Otherwise, why do it?
That's very well said. Before we go, Pandy says, any ideas for New Zealand national sporting organisations or sports clubs on what they should be doing, or they should be concentrating on in a digital space? From Pandy.
Oh, yes, I can help with that. I'm actually on the board of the Rugby World Cup which is in next year.
Piss off. Are you actually?
Yeah. In New Zealand, which is really exciting. So we've been talking about this a lot. It's really cool. We're very excited because hopefully, going well, it might be, it's in September next year, it might be one of the first big rugby tournaments in the world, and New Zealand will be centre stage for that. So that's pretty exciting. But we've been talking a lot about what sports companies, sports games should be looking at. And it's really about building that community. So connecting with people and sort of showing. So things like, behind the scenes, what are the players doing at home, doing lots of video content so you can build up the custom audiences, which is just a little bit of tech on that. But if you're doing a piece of video content on Facebook and Instagram and people watch 3 or more seconds, you can collect that database at the back end and do retargeting later on, which is quite useful. But right now, I think it's all about building up your audiences and telling your story and sort of talking about what, really showing that humanness, that radical humanness of your sport and making it accessible to people. That's what we're focusing on with the black ferns and things like that. Quite cool.
It's the same thing with it's depth versus width, Yeah.
Yeah, just being there with people in their homes. So it's not, and there's a little bit of stuff we're doing as well. There's the whole nostalgia piece, like remember when we did this? It's quite nice. You might see that coming through with the rugby stuff at the moment we're doing. It's really nice. But it's also like, what can you do at home?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
It's really entertaining.
Love the banter, Wendy, as per usual. Thanks for your time.
Thank
You're
you.
awesome. Would you like to give a plug to socialise.co.nz? Check it out for any of your social media marketing requirements. Would you like to
Thank
say
you.
anything like that? Or I've just said it
Yes,
for you.
you've just literally said it. Everyone, go say hi to me over on socialite.co.nz.
Done. Love your work, Wendy. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.